Welcome back to my video series on Lemmings Plus I. So picking up where we left off after a couple of days without videos, we're up to Wimpy level 16, which is Lemmings on stilts. We've got 13 Lemmings, 69% to be saved, there's 69. And unlike the mild level with 53 Lemmings, there actually is a reason for 13 Lemmings in this one, but that'll be more apparent when we get to this level's repeat version. For this version, it's really just carried over from that. So it's basically just a small thing with these many gaps that you've got to build over. And again, this is definitely a case of the repeat version was made and then this was used an earlier version as a filler. So in this version it's pretty much just one of your typical build a lot levels, so nothing really interesting. I mean, the repeat is also build a lot, but despite that it's got some pretty neat twists to it. You generally find here two builders and you'll land on one. Obviously you can try and use your bashes, miners, whatever to stop them, but the easiest way is just build, so not a very difficult level there. So we're on to level 17, which is no need to worry, and despite being another 20 everything level, or I'm not sure if it was 20, but something along those lines. Okay, yes, it was 20. This is actually one of the harder Wimpy levels, just due to the layout of it. You've basically got to go the whole way around, come back through the one ways. Before it was moved to Neo Limits, you could just sort of glitch your way through here. With the update, that option's gone now. You've also got to watch out for this little bit here, which will trap your lemmings in. This is yet another level that was a later level made easier as a filler. So, yeah, it's got a repeat, which is near the end of the Medi rating. It's probably one of the harder Medi levels as well. Solution's roughly the same, but you've just got to be a bit more precise and a few tricks involved in pulling it off. In earlier versions it was actually a real pain to build over the exit. More updated versions of Neo Limits have sort of fixed the trigger areas a bit so that it's not so easy to accidentally exit. Which is probably a good thing for the repeat because you only get one builder spare to try and get past the exit. Yippee 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 yippee. Okay, so on to level 18, which is Down the Wall. Another later level used as a filler. But as a slight twist, you don't get any floaters for this one. Not that that's too hard to deal with, since you've got plenty of other skills here. It's basically just a matter of make the fall survivable without having floaters to do it with. As you can see, not a terribly difficult issue. Two entrances do somewhat come into play into repeat, but the level probably could have worked without them. So yeah, nothing much to say there. Level 19, which is whether you limit or not, obvious play on whether you like it or not. Very simplistic design, a little bit tricky to execute. Again, it's got a repeat, which is a lot trickier to pull off. I mean, you could try and come out the bottom and build your way across, but it's easier to not do that. This is another level that isn't really that special in any way. No real reason to use a bomber for that. I could have just as easily used a digger, but yep. So on to level 20, which is a snowplow would be handy. Like level 13, which was a magician would be handy. It's a play on Tricky 3 from the original game, which was a ladder would be handy. Same naming thing was used in a Lemmings Plus 3 level and a Lemmings Plus Omega level. So it's sort of and I've seen it used in other fan levels as well. So this level is basically, it's got a lot of not empty space to the sides, which is just a bit of change of scenery from the usual black space. Obviously the Neo Limits doesn't have the black space. This one I've kept it partly for the design of the level, partly for the repeat version, which actually makes use of a fair bit of it. In this one it's basically just a typical build a platform level. really not much to this one either. Okay, so on to level 21, which is one step at a time. So this level is fairly long, complicated, worker lemmingy level. The one catch is you do have to save 100% here, and this level has a repeat. It was a dumbed down version of the repeat, but the repeat actually has exactly the same stats and almost the same skill set as this level. So in this form it's a 20 of everything level. In the repeat it's a 20 of everything except one skill level. I don't think I need to say which skill disappears. I mean, if you know my designs, you'll already know which one. If not, it's not hard to figure out which is the only one that's significant. But in this form, we've got everything, so it's a simple matter of create a path to the exit, basically. Is a level where the time limit can be a bit problematic, so you've got to keep an eye on that. Because of that, that's why I've released these lemmings at this point. If all goes well, it should still get them there, like without them running into hazards. So yeah, as you can see, there's a trap there, which is why I've had to come under and go through here. And from there, it's a walk straight to the exit, and 100% save, which is required for this level. And we're on to level 22, which is fast enough. Now this is a repeat of the very first level in the pack. And we've got to save 100% of 40 lemmings. We've only got 1 minute to do it here. And we've got no skills. Now, if we just leave it as is, like we could on the first one, here's the result, not 100%. So the solution to this one is actually as simple as chucking the release rate up to 99. So this is a case that, like, this is the full level, the earlier version was the original, and it's just, I thought, yeah, I need a full level. Release rate's often overlooked in level designs. There is a later level that makes use of the release rate in a much more complex way, but for now it's simple. So on to level 23, it's a strange land. Yes it is. So we've got 15 of everything instead of the usual 20, but it's a pretty simple route to get to the exit route. So this is a level which is another dumbed down version of a later level, which is why there's like this over here which doesn't do much. The design at the top actually is, like up here, is actually used in the repeat. This part here with the bit sticking out becomes an obstacle in the repeat. You can hear some noob coughing in the background.
Sneezing.
Same diff. That's another level down, so level 24, which is up, down, round and round. This is another case of an easier-fied version of a later level. It's probably one of the harder Wimpy levels in terms of actually pulling it off. It's not hard to work out what to do. So it's basically, you've got plenty of builders. You've also got enough climbers and floaters to give one to every lemming. So once you realise that, it's pretty simple to deal with this. You just make the obvious path. And then you just make them all climb and get their way there. So in this version, this level's not too hard. Bit of decoration out here. This is a decorative structure I often use in my levels. I believe I first saw it in taxing 15 of the Master System version of Lemmings, which is different from the DOS version. If you played the Extra Levels Collection Lemmings player, it's one of the other levels in there. It's a bit different on the Master System version, same basic layout but a lot easier. And that's all our lemmings home. Level 25, which is Down with the Lemmings. So this is one that's changed quite a bit in the Neo Lemmings version. In the original, there was no block here. These platforms just formed a slight up angle. But the thing is, in the repeat, you could just drop the whole crowd down from here, turn them around using the steel block, and that was a pretty major back route, so that's why it's been changed. This version of it doesn't affect so much. Oh, incorrect level, that's right. The repeat is level 23 of its rank, this one's 25. So, in this version it's just a matter of going downwards. You might recognise this level's a bit inspired by Taxing 12 of the original game, Living on the Edge. Except in this one it's in reverse, you're going downwards rather than upwards, and you've got these these walls above the gaps. So in the repeat you don't have enough destructive skills to do this, so you've got to actually find a way to come around to this side and go back upwards. In this version of course you can just bash, dig, whatever your way through. These flamethrowers are here because in the repeat there was a back route where you could just dig down here. So level 26 now, Saviour, which is one of the few early levels where you can't save 100%. It's basically just a matter of you've got 26. I keep getting the wrong replays. You've got your exit over the water in this case here, or tentacles. Technically it functions as water, but it looks like tentacles. Be a favourite level of the Japanese, I'm sure. And so you get 3 lemmings from this entrance for every 1 from this one. And how it actually works is that there's 3 entrances overlapped here. In Neo Lemmings I could have just specified an entrance order, but since it was already set up this way, it was easier to just leave it as is. We've got the lemmings coming out here facing left in this version, which does make it a bit easier. Oh, glad we have one lemming go past there. Let's take another look at that. Okay, something weird's going on. Graphical glitch, I assume. I'll have to look more into that at some point, but for now the next level, which is level 27, Ready Aim Fire. So this is a repeat of that bomber one from Mild. And this time we only get 3 diggers, we've got 6 to go through. So the puzzle here is that you just, might take newer players a while to realise, you just dig where there's a thing connecting 2 layers. And it's just a matter of finding which ones you can actually make a path through. Before the move to Neo Lemmings, you could actually dig in the middle here and go through 3 layers. Of course there's no way to go through 3 again, so you'd have to just use your 2 other diggers anyway. It's just a sort of different route that you could use. In Neo Lemmings, a slight change in digger mechanics stops that way from working, but it's the normal solution, go through 2 each time, still works. So we're on to level 28, which is get up, up, up. So we've got 10 lemmings, only have to save half of them, and it's a pretty simple upwards level. It's a very compact level. I often wonder whether I should have put these pieces here in or not, these diagonal ones at the sides. Obviously even with Neo Lemmings you can't shrink it to just the size of this, since you've got to have at least 1 full screen. So yeah, nothing much to say about this level. It is one that has a repeat, so it's another easier-fied version. So now on to level 29, which is a repeat of Mild 6. And it's quite easy as far as repeat levels go. It could be a bit tricky for newer players. There's a lot of ways to solve this one. This is just my personal favourite way of solving it. Avoids the trap in the middle entirely, avoids having to try and bring the 2 together. And yeah, so it's mostly just made to like put a few tricky solutions without being too difficult to that earlier level. So we're on to level 30 now, last level for today, last level of Wimpy, which is Counterlogical. So this is another easier-fied version of a later level. You've got a lot less lemmings here than you do in the repeat, and the number of lemmings is actually a very important point to the solution in the repeat. For this one, it's 25, so you've got enough to reach the goal with the climbers and floaters you've got. You don't have enough to save everyone with just those. It's basically another worker lemmingy level. I don't know why I did that. Oh, it's turn him around, of course. I could have just used a miner there. It's a pretty simple one in this form. You can, of course, come around back here and come through here if you want to save everyone, but that's not really required in this version. You can just make more climbers and floaters and get into the exit that way, blow up the rest, Allah Akbar. And there we go, so that's the rest of Wimpy covered. And so next time we'll start on Medi. A lot of repeats of these early levels show up there. Not many of the Medi and later levels have repeats, so there'll be probably a lot more to say about a lot of the levels. So until next time, hope you enjoyed the video, have a good day, and see you in my next video, whether that's this one or my playthrough of Jeff Lems that I'm also doing, which is, it's not one of my packs, but it's one of my favourite level packs that I've played. Well worth playing, well worth at least watching. So yeah, I'll leave you with that for today.